What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to rank the 3 unannounced Warner Bros. Games. Yet again, I've already done this once before. I made a listing of the top 3 most anticipated. So kind of talking about which one am I literally just looking forward to the most. In this one, I want to talk about if the potential was fulfilled for each of these 3 games. Again, Harry Potter, Rocksteady's, which now we can kind of assume Rocksteady's is Suicide Squad / Suicide Squad, with the Justice League, kills the Justice League, whether you face them or whether they're in the game. So now we have that to go off of. So again, we're going to go based off of now if they all achieved their potential of where they could reach, of what they could be, what order would I put these games in? I guess there's technically a one final kind of ranking of which one I just ultimately think is going to be the best game. So we can do that for sure in another listing video if you guys want me to do that. Definitely, as always, let me know in the comments below, not just for that, but also any other kinds of ranking videos, any other kinds of videos you guys want me to make in general. So let's go through this. We're going to start at number 3. Now, again, this doesn't mean that I think that these games are terrible. Doesn't mean I have no confidence in these games. Obviously, I talk about these games quite a bit, but let's start at number 3. If I'm being flat out honest, and I think this is honestly going to come to quite a surprise to a lot of people. If I'm being honest, if I'm talking about the games, all 3 of these, okay, if you literally took your lever and put it all the way up to max potential for these games, I think the game that would be the least, fulfilled, or would just be the least game that I think has a ceiling to hit would be this Batman game, the Warner Bros. Montreal's Batman game. And maybe it's simply because of the other 2 of where I think the potential for those games could go. Now, again, remember, I believe in my anticipated video, I said that Batman is still, ironically, out of the 3 of these games, I think it's the most anticipated, the one that I can't wait for the most. But I think if they were all to reach their highest, fulfillment, their fullest potential, I just feel like Batman wouldn't be better than the other 2. Okay, I feel like this game has a lot to prove. But at the same time, when you talk about potential, you talk about what these games could be, I really am, in my mind, maybe even like subconsciously, like not even planned, right? I do feel like I'm setting the bar at the other Arkham games. I don't really expect this game to be like the best Arkham game we've ever gotten. I don't expect it, to do like legendary things. You know what I mean? I want this game to be another, stepping back into that Batman game in a lot of the ways that maybe at the time when Arkham Knight came out 5 years ago, how I kind of felt then, where it's like, I love the first 2. I played Origin, so let's include Warner Bros. Montreal in it, right? So I love these 3 games, and I really was ready to go back into it. At the time, we kind of thought one last time. Kind of how I even went into, in a different way, but like an Uncharted 4. Like, I was so pumped for that game. Being able to experience Nathan Drake and his story and all that stuff one more time, right? That's kind of what, I was very, very pumped to do. So, for Batman, I feel like this time around, yes, it's going to start the new universe. Yes, it's going to have a Bat family. I feel like maybe that, if that does fulfill its fullest potential, I guess that's really exciting, but I just feel like the other 2 have a lot more going for it. Again, does not mean I'm not looking forward to this game. I just feel like if all 3 of these games reach their max potential, the Batman one is probably the one we'd be least impressed with of these 3. Number 2, I'm going to have to go with Rocksteady. So again, we're assuming that it's Suicide Squad. I'm going to actually assume it's Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. So I'm assuming that Suicide Squad's in it. I'm assuming Justice League are the villains to it. If we want to talk about games that I'm most worried about, and I love talking about like the top games I'm most worried about, right? This game, I think when it fully gets unveiled, when it fully gets shown, I feel like this could be a game where it's like, okay, there's a lot that could potentially go wrong, right? But at the same time, there's a lot that could potentially go right. And if they do hit it, I think this game can be an absolute slam dunk success. Again, it's not a guarantee. And that is honestly part of the reason why I do kind of respect the decision. It's not even necessarily what I want. I don't think it's what the majority of DC gamers want, right? I don't pretend like I speak for the majority of you, but I've seen enough people saying like, you know what? People will say like, you know what? We're going to get this game. We're going to buy this game. But I don't think this is what was on the top of everybody's wish list, right? Number 1, I don't think was Suicide Squad for everybody, okay? I think some people definitely do want this more than other things, but I don't think for everybody. But if they do this right, the multiplayer kind of approach, and again, it's hard because really, I mean, I guess you could argue it's hard for all of these games because we don't know all that much information. It'll be fun to be able to do this video again once we've seen these 3 games, once we know what they look like, once we know some of the mechanics, even after these 3 games come out, to kind of rank them against each other, I think would be really, really fun. But if the multiplayer works, if you can actually create a universe where we can play with our friends as the Suicide Squad, or as like a member who like joins the Suicide Squad, you know what I mean? If you like have to pick your own character, however they end up doing it, if they pull that off, if they put us into that world, very different kind of protagonist, right? Technically, because we'd be on their side. I think this game could be outrageously good. I think honestly, of these 3 games, it could be my favorite if done, right. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see. Ultimately, again, there's a lot more blanks. I feel like where we are sitting right now, we can kind of predict a little bit more of how Batman is going to maybe even look. I mean, again, it's very hard. We don't necessarily know how this Batman game is going to look, how it's going to feel, how it's going to play, but I feel like we can tell a lot more than Rocksteady's, right? I feel like Rocksteady's is a big question mark that soon will be filled for sure, but as of right now, it's hard to predict. Number 1, obviously, there's only 3 of these games, so you guys could probably predict the number 1, Harry Potter. I've been saying this literally since day 1, and I'm really going to stick to it. I know that, a lot of people that watch these videos, there's definitely the Batman community, or like the DC, I would say DC, right? There's a DC community that watches these videos, and then there's the Harry Potter people that watch the Harry Potter videos, and I will say, and I love the fact that this goes on, is there's like cross, pollination, right? There's people that watch both of them, which I think is really, really cool. I do understand that maybe Harry Potter, I get Harry Potter's not for everybody. I get the DC games aren't for everybody. I just think that, and I have actually said it, literally does have so big of a potential, okay? If they can do it right, which I do think this would be the hardest, because I feel like we as an audience, I mean, me specifically, I can go through my wish list of like 30 things I want in this game. I'm sure everybody else could go through theirs, and we can probably think of some amazing, truly amazing things. They aren't going to all be in this game, okay? I feel like if there's any one of these games where the potential is the hardest to reach, it's this game. I think the potential for Harry Potter would be absolutely the hardest to reach, because there's just so much you can do in the Wizarding World. And I've said actually for a long time, and people have echoed me, I've seen in the comments that people have echoed me, I don't even think this is just a game for Harry Potter fans. I think there's going to be people that have never seen the movies or don't want to see the movies, have never read the books, that are going to like this game. And again, almost word for word, I've seen that in the comments saying, I don't like the movies, I don't watch the books, I think this game can be absolutely incredible. I agree. I think the amount of things you'd be able to do, because I think there's just something to being like a wizard, right? Having spells, casting spells, doing all this stuff. Hogwarts as the backdrop, all of this stuff that is recognizable as the backdrop, I think only helps, right? But I think, again, if they were to all fulfill their fullest potential, we'd be talking, in terms of Harry Potter, I think we'd be honest, and this is, I mean, I know maybe you say I sugarcoat things, or, however you may think of me. I truly do think if Harry Potter reaches its fullest potential, it would be the best open world game ever created. I feel like that would have to kind of be the name we give it to. And I don't say that lightly at all. I love The Witcher, Dragon Age Inquisition I really love. Is that really an open world game? I guess you could argue. Final Fantasy games. I mean, there's so many open world games that have come out. Witcher 3, I think, is probably, as of right now, probably my favorite. Some people may say Assassin's Creed, some Assassin's Creed games, right? I think of Harry Potter in like 2 years from now, if we were to fast forward and then the scores are like 10, like you told me every single person loved this game and it did everything we could have hoped for Harry Potter, I feel like the next thing you would tell me is it's the best open world game we've ever gotten, right? So again, does that mean that I'm more anticipating Harry Potter than Batman? No, ironically, I'm still anticipating Batman more, and it's again mainly because these lists are fun to do, but I don't know if they will hit their potential, right? I think Harry Potter has the biggest potential, but that doesn't mean I think it's going to hit it. Like I said, I think it actually would be the hardest. I feel like if you're talking about like ceilings and floors, people use those kind of statements. I feel like Harry Potter has the highest ceiling, and honestly, I feel like Batman has the lowest ceiling, which maybe helps it, because I feel like Batman is probably the easiest of all these three games. I think it would be the easiest to hit expectations for Batman. Now, again, we all have very big expectations for Batman, and because we've talked about this game, and some people have talked about it for like 7 years, right? There obviously are a lot lot of huge expectations for Batman, but of the three, I think Harry Potter's for potential is the highest. So again, guys, let me know in the comments below. Firstly, what are your rankings? What would you put these games in terms of potential? Secondly, is there any other, like I said in the beginning of this video, any other kinds of lists like this you want me to do going forward, whether it be these games, whether it be other games in general? I've been doing more list videos. I really like doing these. These are some of my more fun videos to record. Lots of stuff coming up. I don't want to spoil too many things, but I have a lot of really fun things planned. We're going to have more Batman videos over the next couple of days, Harry Potter, Rocksteady videos over the next couple of days, so lots of stuff going on, as well as a couple other surprises that I'll maybe talk about a little more over the coming days, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, have the bell icon turned on, and check out our Discord server. The link for that will be in the description below if you guys have not yet checked it out. Lots of people in the DC community, lots of people in the Harry Potter community already there. Would love to have you guys join as well, okay? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.